All right. After a myriad of technical issues and mostly laziness on our part because we didn't know what the hell to say for the first 5 minutes, the Red Rover podcast is finally up and running for however long that ends up deciding to be, which could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour, it could be 4 days. Well, maybe not 4 days. I might be pushing our luck a little bit.
Someone's have to go to work.
So, for those who are here as a part of Red Rover Son, thank you for joining us. If you are on the outside, I have no clue how the hell you found this on our first try. But we are a Destiny community, a very small one at that, and just a bunch of us like shooting the shit online on PlayStation. So I figured, and I don't know why it took me this long, let's do a fucking podcast about it, where we just kind of shoot the shit on Destiny, on other random crap that just goes through our mind, because we do it enough in our chat already. I figure why not get it in audio form and at least, get some sort of recognition for it, or get some popularity and some famous stuff going on here. Be a fan in like 2 people out in France somewhere, right? That already went over like a fart in church. All right, so this is the problem with only having 2 people. We were gonna have at least 3. Yeah. We were hoping for more, but c'est la vie. Show goes on. This is, like I said, this is probably gonna be a pretty short show. We kind of didn't expect much. This is more like a test. This is a test to us at this point.
Yeah, definitely we'll be picking more people up in the future.
It's like the pilot episode at this point.
Yeah.
Hopefully
we're going to do more.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We get put on the USA Network? Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, who's going to cut our funding? They can't stop us from making more episodes.
Well, I mean, the FCC might try.
We'll fail.
So, for those who don't know, any of us, which I'm assuming is 99.9% of anybody listening to this, which at this point being live is probably nobody.
Yeah.
But if this ever gets put on VOD and somebody comes across this, I'm CSRadical. I'm one of the members of Red Rover. With me here is Shaggy009. So how you doing, Shaggy?
I'm doing fantastic, Radical.
How's the weather over there?
Cold.
Seems to be cold everywhere else. Like I was reading a post saying, like, I think yesterday, I posted in the chat where, like, apparently in Alaska it was warmer in a lot of places of Alaska than it was in Canada. I know today there was a stat going around that 9 out of 10 places in the world right now were coldest in Canada. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm glad that none of those are where I am. That's helpful.
Yeah, it's got to be much better than you would expect.
I don't know what I think. Well, I know today our high was -9 Celsius, so the wind chill's like minus 16, 17. Which I think to you guys, it's like either that's close to 0 or just about.
What?
I want to say that. I mean, yeah, that's to you guys, maybe, if I'm doing the math right. I don't know. Fahrenheit's confusing to me, trying to do the math for that shit.
It's confusing to me, too, and I'm growing up with it.
Well, you guys are like the lone country that's still on that, so that's on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would much prefer the metric system myself. It's simpler.
Well, one thing at a time, I guess. So, we are heading into the new year. It's going to be 2018 in about, it's going to be 3 days from now,
yeah.
Which means another 3 months till I remember to actually write the correct freaking year on anything when I'm dating it.
I'm kind of forced to date things every day. So.
Well, the same here, but that doesn't mean I ain't going to fuck it up at any point, right?
I'm already fucking it up and writing the new year on things.
Okay, that I'm not close. I'm not that far down the road. I don't think I can pull that off.
I live in the future.
I'm still trying to deal with the present. I'm going to turn 30 in about 2 months. I don't want to think about the future at this point. I feel like I'm getting old. And I know there are people that are in the community that are like way older than me, and I'm like, shut up, I don't care. I'm having my own midlife crisis. Let me be.
You have the right to. You're hitting the big 3-0.
Other than that, though, we are coming up to the new year, but we just finished Christmas, so I was curious. Did you get anything cool for Christmas this year?
I got hot sauce. That was pretty cool.
Hot sauce doesn't sound that cool, though.
I think it's good hot sauce. Realization I'm an adult when most of the things I get are clothes that I ask for.
See, well, at this point, I legitimately said to my folks, I'm like, look, I really don't know what the hell I want anymore, because anything I usually want, I'll just buy.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So my mom just kind of looked at me, and she's like, so I can get you whatever I want. And I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it. If you want to get me friggin', I don't know, if you want to get me something cool. If you want to get me something shit that I'll just sell anyway, go ahead.
I wish more people would offer money.
See, that's too easy. I was disappointed this year because last year they gave me a $100 prepaid MasterCard. This year I didn't get anything like that. So I was like, damn it, I don't have any free money to spend this year.
I've kind of grown into not caring if I get presents simply because I'm not going to give anyone presents.
Well, I'm kind of in that boat too, because I mean, especially this year, I've noticed I'm not nearly as enthusiastic about Christmas anymore. Like, I can still wake up every morning and still at least look forward to being able to see family that I don't see too often, get to eat some really damn good food, and then gain like 10 pounds. But in terms of like the actual, I'm not the kid anymore that used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning because he wanted to go open 10,000 gifts.
Right.
I mean, nobody's buying me a Nintendo Switch this year, so I'm not having that N64 moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, this year, like legitimately, my Christmas, other than like a few oddball gifts, like the one oddball thing that's sitting on my shelf right now is this like, it's one of those karaoke microphones that has like an attachment to for your cell phone, so you can just put YouTube on there and just do karaoke right then and there. And I looked at it, and I'm like, so you could have just got me a microphone, which I have. I was confused.
Kind of made more sense, right?
But other than that, like they literally just thought, well, it's just going to get you a bunch of nice clothes because I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy. So they're like, well, let's get you some clothes that we actually won't hate you dressing in. I'm like, whatever. It's clothes I don't have to spend money on now.
How are you on New Year's resolutions?
What are you talking from like the entire year as a whole? I mean, or are you talking next year?
Do you have any resolutions for the coming year?
Well, I'm starting it with this podcast. That was the one big thing that I was telling myself at the end of the year is to at least start doing something again.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've been running on the blog for a while, and that I've been doing, but, I mean, that's in spurts, and you can only do so much writing-wise before you're like, this is kind of stupid. Like, I want to yell about this. I don't just want to write about it, but the problem is I'm also in this space right now where I don't feel comfortable just screaming into a microphone while there are still people in the house. And I also don't have like a private little space that I can kind of soundproof or anything too. So
it is really fun to scream into a microphone.
Well, it's the one thing I miss. Like I used to live in my own place for a couple of years before February this year. And it was amazing being able to have the place to yourself. And I can play Destiny. I can play Raids with you guys. And I can just scream and do all the stupid bullshit that I usually do. I mean, I still kind of do that now. But, you know, there's no filter and there's no volume control at that point.
It's much nicer playing video games with no volume control.
Well, yeah, I mean, as we've seen with our own parties, like, you know, it's definitely the kind of thing that you definitely would need, like, a bunch of people in a soundproof room for, because if that stuff was outside in the public, like, they would just give us the weirdest fucking looks in the world.
They would probably call the cops. Some of the conversations we've had.
Speaking of cops... that friggin' swatting story that we were going over yesterday or earlier today.
That was crazy.
For those who don't know, this is our first like topical thing that we're going to talk about. I'm going straight to the dark shit right off the bat. In Kansas, there was this innocent guy that got shot and killed by a police officer because I don't know how old these guys are. I haven't researched too far into it because I don't really need to know any further about the story because it's dumb enough as it is. But they, a couple of guys got into an online squall about some Call of Duty match and decided that they were going to SWAT each other. And for those who don't know, swatting is when you call a police, call the 911 number, and you give an address to a place that you claim that there's a hostage situation, whether it's like a guy's got a gun, maybe he's already killed somebody, whatever's going on. So that way they get a large number of cops in there, usually with assault rifles in hand, and they barge the damn door down. This is something that people seem to like to do as a thing to Twitch streamers, which I don't understand. Have you ever heard the term before I brought that up today?
No, actually, I have not.
Yeah, no, it's something that I guess you really have to be like more paying attention to streaming to kind of see that stuff, because it's something that gets passed around a lot. Like most of the big streamers know of it. Most of them are lucky that they haven't, but there's always the few that, you know, were lucky to get their door kicked down by, you know, a couple of guys in body armor with an assault rifle.
Yeah, that's a good way to wake up in the morning sometimes.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm like, I don't know what could possess a person, even in the most delusional, insane state of mind, to be like, you know what I want to do? I want to take this person that I marginally don't like, and I'm going to call the cops. Tell them that they have not only a weapon, but they have probably killed somebody with it, and you should go stop that person. And somehow, in all of the time before this, before today, No one had been killed. As far as I know, I don't even know of any stories where people have been like seriously injured. I don't remember seeing a story about somebody actually being shot. And now today we get the story that a 28-year-old completely innocent guy, he had nothing to do with this entire squabble, he was shot and killed. And
And
it's
it
like,
wasn't it over like $1.50 bet as well?
yeah, it was some like Call of Duty online match that had like $1.50 wager to it. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, so that's how much we're viewing human life now. It's over petty drama of a $1.50 match.
Yeah.
Ugh. I said it in a tweet earlier. I'm like, can we just bring out the nukes? I think we've kind of earned it now.
Yeah, just let some of us leave, and then the rest of them can just deal with it.
It's just sad, dude. Like, I don't know what else to say at that point.
On a lighter subject, have you seen all the artwork or graffiti artists have done in Chernobyl?
Oh,
Like on the outskirts?
I think I saw a Reddit post on that earlier. I can't remember.
It's been a while since I've seen it. It's definitely very fascinating.
Well, especially in a place like that really does need like something to kind of alter the memories of it too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's cool to see like all the art that people have created has then been grown up, and like all the buildings are kind of destroyed, of course. And then there's just grass growing over all of it as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like there are a few times in history that I always remember, like either a name of a place or the event that takes place in it, and like really like the two biggest ones would be the Holocaust, and honestly Chernobyl's a big one too. Like that name is always synonymous with something. Like it's that kind of name that you don't forget. Like the second somebody says it, boom, it pops into your head, you know exactly where they're going.
Right.
And like it made it really interesting. It was why it was surprising to me that it took so long for video games to even start really running with that, because I think the first time we really got that was Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think isn't the Metro games based in that?
That I'm not sure.
I think Metro 2033 and those or Metro. I don't play those games because I know they're gonna jump scare me, and I am not paying money for that shit.
I'm not good with jump scares.
I mean, I was telling the story a while ago that like one of my favorite games way back when they came out was BioShock, but Jesus Christ, that game scared the shit out of me a couple of times. It's like I don't know. I've always been with like that with horror, like whether it's movies, whether it's TV shows, video games. Like I just don't like paying money to experience an emotion I don't enjoy. My imagination's good enough to scare me. I don't need somebody else to help.
I've just never been that big a fan of horror games. They don't entertain me as much.
Well, the problem too is like a lot of horror games that I found. Like I remember playing the original Resident Evil when I was younger, and I just didn't like the controls of it. And I've gone back and replayed it when the HD version came out for free on PlayStation, and I tried that again, and I'm like, no, this still feels like shit. I remember playing a Resi 4 on the Wii and actually being okay with it because at least with the motion control, I could aim a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But on GameCube, like I couldn't stand it, and then I gave it one more shot with Resident Evil 5, and again the controls they're just too slow. Like I feel like when you're supposed to be the super soldier and your aim is like slower than a friggin' turtle on molasses, it's like, dude, like, come on, man.
I've noticed in Destiny the sensitivity for that seems very low even on max setting.
Yeah, I do feel that, like, because I always play on 10 too. I feel like D2's 10 is a little slower still than D1's 10. I feel like, if anything, D2's 10 is more like an 8 on sensitivity, I think at best. It does feel a little bit slower.
Yeah. In those games, when I was still playing FPSs regularly, I would play on like 5 or 6. And I didn't feel like it was a whole lot, but that was also on a scale to 20.
Well, it's weird too, because there are some games that I don't play with the sensitivity this high. It's just Destiny seems to be that game that I really do like having that really fast, fluent, crisp, lock on, so that way I can get so much done. Whereas in a game like COD, I don't necessarily need the sensitivity that high. I can pretty much tactically like take the advantage without needing to like quick fire. Like when you get the guys that do like the crazy like no scoping and 360 stuff, it's like, okay, I don't need to go that far. I can just get behind a guy and shoot. I can do that. That's easy.
The new COD game, I don't know what my sensitivity is at. I know I bumped it up off the bat immediately, but it's still kind of slow. But I know I probably have a lot more I can go up with that.
How has it been for you so far? Because
It's not bad. I mean, it's a Call of Duty game, so I hate it.
have you played any of the campaign, or has it just been the multiplayer for you?
I've just played like maybe 10 rounds of the multiplayer. I mean, it's
'Cause
definitely fun. I'm glad I've gone back to just boots on the ground.
well, that was the thing. Like, I really after like what was it? I think it was Advanced Warfare, the one with Kevin Spacey. I think that was Advanced Warfare, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Like at around that point, I kind of got a little not interested anymore because I was still playing like heavy into the Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. I was still pretty heavy in. And then once they got to I think there was one game before Kevin Spacey, but I can't remember what the hell it was. But like it started getting a little too you always have to be in the action. Then they started having all the jumping and gliding across the walls like they were trying to emulate Titanfall, and it's like it got to the point that I felt like it wasn't becoming about the shooting anymore. It was just becoming about, ADHD level just gameplay.
Yeah. It's like they were just trying to keep up with the competition and just put more content in.
Which I didn't think they necessarily need to do. I mean, Call of Duty is the competition. In most cases, that's what it is. They didn't need to go out of their way to try to take the score. I think it really was just petty bullshit where they're just like, well, if somebody's doing this cool thing that people like, okay, we're going to do it too, so we take them away too.
With Call of Duty games, I played real heavy, mostly in Black Ops 1 and 2. I played very little with 3 because after I hit like level 30 or so, I got out of it very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember playing Black Ops 2 way more than any other game. Like, Modern Warfare 2, I did quite a bit. Black Ops, I did quite a bit. Modern Warfare 3 was about that point that I was, like, heavy in. And then Black Ops 2, like, everything just seemed to go really well for me. I was enjoying the gameplay, the maps where I liked, the guns, I was finding my niche, and then I just had a bunch of friends that I could always go to. And then once we got to the games following that, it just people started drifting away. That's when I started getting back into RPGs again because I had that stretch where I couldn't get into anything. Like that's when Mass Effect really started pushing in. Sorry, you're gonna say something there?
Oh yeah, I keep getting to the point where I can't get into a game, and when I finally do, I play it so much that I beat it in 4 days, and then I'm like, well, what do I do now?
Well, that's the thing. That's why we always keep coming back to Destiny, because at least Destiny, there's something you can do in the background that can kind of just kill time.
For sure, yeah.
Like hell, I even remember when I was still playing on 360. Like I would legit turn on Minecraft on the 360, but I wouldn't even play it. I would just have 6 friends in a party, and we just shoot the shit. They'd be building stuff. I might just be sitting there just chatting. Like for a lot of the time, like even when I play Destiny now, like it's just a social tool.
I mean, you gotta think about the friend game, my friend.
See, I remember when people took that so seriously and got really upset, and I kind of just nodded my head and like, you know what? They're not wrong. I mean, a lot of what I do now with Destiny isn't necessarily based on, all this content that I want to go and play. I mean, sure, it would be nice that there was more to do, yes. But I also still enjoy the fact that, if I really want to, I can just set up a night where, okay, let's get 4 of us together and we'll just go play Crucible for a couple hours and shoot the shit and have fun. I'm cool with that.
With Destiny, I really enjoy playing with people, but when I play by myself, I get very bored of doing anything that I'm actually supposed to be doing.
It depends on what I'm doing. Like I'm also a big podcast listener, so I always have something that I can probably catch up on. So like, especially now with all the dawning stuff, it really helps that I need to do 5 matches and 5 strikes and all this stuff, because at least then, okay, well, I got a 2-hour podcast I need to catch up on. Well, I guess I'll do my 5 strikes. That should probably kill it.
Yeah, that's really good for it. I only really watch probably a podcast every week, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm living on that. I've got like at least 3 to 4 wrestling podcasts I keep up with because I'm a nerd that way. I usually have 1 or 2 gaming podcasts, a couple of anime podcasts, and then whenever there's a good guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, I'll turn that on. There's always something that I'm listening to. It's just a matter of, is there something important that I want to hear on this one, or do I want to just I don't listen to every podcast every week. I'll usually take about half of them. Depends on who the guest is that week. Depends on what the topics are that week. Because sometimes it's especially with the gaming podcast, sometimes there's just nothing to talk about. There's usually that like lull months. Like we'll get that probably in the new year. We're in the first month of January. There's not going to be a whole lot to talk about. It's going to be more getting ready for the big wave of games.
Especially in March, because I know there's a lot of releases in March that are going to be fairly large.
Well, because I think Far Cry got pushed to March, didn't it?
Yeah, to March 27th. Yeah, I'm ready for that one myself.
It's the beauty of having a laptop here. I can just throw up the Metacritic release list and see what we got for March. Because I mean, it's thankfully, I still have XCOM 2 sitting on my console, so I'm waiting for that whenever I get some free time at Destiny again. As I look, Monster Hunter World's going to be out at the end of January, which I'm probably going to wait for the price to drop. I did enjoy playing the beta. Did you get a chance to do it?
For what?
Monster Hunter?
No, I actually did not play it at all.
It's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people, because it hasn't been on a major console, because it's been a DS game for a while. It'll be interesting to see how people take it. I have the feeling that a lot of people that are getting impatient with Destiny and are looking for something similar to play, they might get a little off-put by Monster Hunter because it's very much more of a Dark Souls-y kind of system.
Yeah.
But the customization that Monster Hunter does is definitely what Destiny fans would love, because there's a lot of... You craft your own armor, so you can look however the bloody hell you damn want.
Right.
So that'll be definitely something that people get into. The Dragon Ball Z fighting game, I'm definitely waiting for to drop in price, but I will play the shit out of that game when it comes out. I giant anime nerd, so the guys who make the Guilty Gear and BlazBlue games, like the fact that they're going to make a Dragon Ball Z game is like I basically can't ask for much else.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot. I know a few people that are going to be getting it.
Let's see.
I am not a fighter game person.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I don't play a lot of them. If I usually play them, like I'll play them when they're either at a friend's place when he's got the copy, and I'll nick it off him for a month and just mess with it. And that's the thing. The problem with me with fighting games is I don't put a lot of time into it to justify the full price. Like, I can justify paying $70 for Destiny because I'll put 100+ hours into it. If I pay $70 for, say, Injustice 2 when that came out, which I still haven't even played yet, I would probably put I'd finish the campaign and maybe play a couple of online matches, and that would be it.
Yeah, with fighting games, it always ends up me with no fighting game experience playing somebody that only plays fighting games.
Well, that's the thing, too. Most of the people that do play online, they're the ones that actually mean to play.
Yeah. I do enjoy watching people play fighting games solely because it's entertaining when they just troll people.
Yeah. Let's see. What else we got on the list? Shadow of the Colossus is getting its HD remake in February. I might actually...
It's going to be a big one, right?
I can't remember when that one's coming out. Have they even announced a date on that yet? I don't think they have they?
Early 2018 on that one.
Yeah, so that'll probably be... If it's not out earlier in the year, it'll probably be like an E3 thing where they'll say, oh yeah, it's coming out next month.
Yeah.
That's probably what'll happen.
Hey, after this is over, we're going to just let you have this game for free.
Yeah, good fucking luck. The amount of advertising they put into that game, they're gonna charge you full fucking price for that with like 1 billion DLC copies and loot boxes for zombie hats.
Well, if they're loot boxes, man, you so disappointed. They're not even hats that you can wear. They're hats that zombies can wear.
Oh, that's what we'll play. February 20th, the Metal Gear Survive zombie friggin' thing. What the fuck? Man. I still don't understand what Konami was thinking when they decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick out Kojima, and the first thing we'll make with that license, instead of just killing it like they have with everything else, we're going to make a zombie shooter. The most creative thing they could do.
A zombie shooter.
Although, to be fair, with what Kojima's new game is looking like, I don't think they're any better on the road, because I still don't have a fucking clue what they're trying to do.
There's so many games coming out early next year that I'm definitely not going to be playing them all.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. Like, there's really maybe two games that I'm like definitely interested in. That's Yakuza 6, which is in March, and Far Cry 5, which is at the end of March. And even both of those, I'm like, I could probably wait for them to drop in price.
Far Cry, I know I'm getting. I'm kind of in the majority of. I really like the Far Cry games. I know a lot of people didn't like 4, and a lot of people didn't like Primal. I actually bought 4 recently, but my disc doesn't work.
I really love 3. Voss was like... Voss is still one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
All this time.
In 4, I really didn't see Pagan Men as that big of a villain. I feel like the Rebels were the villains.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people were saying, too, is it's kind of hard to associate. That's a major reason why I dropped Far Cry 4 is because I really didn't like helping these guys. I'm like, I don't want to play this.
I like their alternate the alternate ending where I think it's like 10 minutes sitting in Pagan Men's room.
Oh yeah,
waiting for him to come
that's
back.
my favorite thing.
That was hilarious to me.
That's the clever shit right there. That's when you got people that know, how to make a fun game. That's why, as much as we give Ubisoft shit, at least they try to have a little bit of fun with their stuff.
For sure, yeah.
What else is on?
Gears, not Gears. God of War. Sorry.
Oh, Dad of War, yeah.
Yeah. God of War.
That thing I'm interested in too. I mean, it's weird too. Me saying that I'm interested in a God of War game is so unique because I've never liked the previous games. I just couldn't get into them for whatever reason.
Yeah, I didn't play 3 a whole lot, and that's the only one I've attempted to play.
My little brother was super into them, I guess, because him at that age, he was. I think when the first ones were coming out, I think he would have been like 14, so he was right in that age where it's like, dude, shit tons of gore and just slashing the shit out of everything. I'm down. Me, I'm just like. I'm playing Final Fantasy being like, I just want to see some my anime girls. I'm happy.
Do you know when Red Dead's supposed to come out? Or is it still pending release date?
I think it's still pending. I'm sure this is going to be another one of those cases where E3 will probably give us the actual date.
That or it's going to be just like GTA and it's going to be like 4 more years before it comes out.
Well, that's also possible too because Rockstar keeps making billions of fucking dollars off of stupid people with GTA Online. I don't understand how anybody is still paying that thing money.
It's a lot. I mean, some people still, of course, glitch money. They're just getting around it.
Yeah, in retrospect, I wish I had, because I glitched a little bit when it first came, when all those money duping glitches were still a thing.
Yeah.
Now there's
I did that quite a bit.
Yeah, like I think it was the one where you had to like take like a certain truck, park it in the garage, but get the door stuck, so you would just dupe the car.
That's sometimes you drive into the side of the bus. And then, like, if you're on a motorcycle, it'll drive on the side of the bus, fall off, and then it duplicates the motorcycle. It's like,
oh, I never saw that one.
Ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, it's funny too because you're thinking, how the hell do people come across this stuff too?
It's just got to be weird. They have to sit there and spend their entire day. So how can I possibly duplicate it? Or it's either that or it's just chance.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you really have to question whether it is chance or whether a guy literally is just. He's just screwing around, just trying. He's just like crossing up the list. Okay, this didn't do anything. This didn't do anything. It really does make you wonder. I mean, I love playing games, but I don't think I love them that much.
No, I'm not gonna sit there and waste my time trying to break a game when the time I'm wasting doing that I can earn the money.
Because I mean, I play GTA Online a ton. Like when that came out, I was there the day that it broke when it was a laggy piece of shit. Nobody could get in. Like, most games are when they start up online.
Yeah.
I was like the one person that said, hey, guys, expect to not get on in like 6 hours. They're like, what do you mean? It's GTA. Rockstar's got like billions of dollars from this game. They'll have time to get these servers up. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, just wait till it starts. You won't get in.
I mean, even then, they still made us wait 2 weeks. And like the day it came out, I was like, because I was living with a couple people at the time, and they were both ready to play. I was like, there's no way you're getting into this game. And they sat there. They tried. I was like, I'm just going to keep playing the campaign.
Yep. I mean, I wanted to get in, but at that point, I'm like, you know what? I can wait. Because I had planned that this is what I was going to be playing for a while because there was really nothing else coming out at the time.
So I think in GTA, before I deleted it a few months ago, I'm probably in the high 300s to low 400 level range because I did play quite a bit.
Yeah, I played a lot, but I didn't really do anything that was going to give me a lot of RP. Like I was just it was more along the lines of just messing around. Like that's what we were doing for the most part.
Well, I needed the money to keep messing around because I have just this odd obsession of paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to paint one vehicle.
Yeah. And that was the weird thing too. Like the way they priced a lot of stuff in GTA Online still mystifies me to this day. It's like I don't think a random T-shirt that has like the most blatant like pointless logo on it is going to be $2,000.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's really like, weird with the way they priced it. I mean,
we have the current.
My brain just like, you could have just made it that money is scarce. So you're instead of getting a mission done, you get paid $10,000. Here, you'll get $500. Because I mean, I don't understand why you're paying $2.3 million for a motorcycle when in actuality that thing is probably worth $20,000.
That I do miss playing GTA because it's one of my favorite games to just drive around in.
Well, that was the thing. Like, even just to mess around and like just turn on the radio, listen to all the silly songs that were on there, just play Danger Zone, and you're going flying across the military base. It was good for what it was, and I don't regret putting any time into it.
Oh,
Like I had a fantastic time playing that game.
I had a lot of people that played that game as well.
It's just mystifying that there are people that are not only still playing it, but are still sinking so much money into it. It's like, holy crap. I know there's a DeLorean in this, guys, but come on.
I mean, it does fly, so.
Yeah, but it doesn't play the every time you drive it, so I don't care.
I really want that fucking vehicle, but I'm not installing a 61 gig game.
Yeah, I'm also not paying $40 for a shark card that allowed me to get it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I would just grind out like heists and stuff. Because I mean, it's like a couple hours of work for 600,000. It's not bad.
Because that was the one thing that my brain just goes through. It's like, I paid $70 for this game. Why am I going to pay half of it just for one vehicle?
Yeah. With microtransactions, I'm very iffy on that. Yeah, if it's a free game or I get it on sale, I'm perfectly fine paying some because I mean I'm justifying the full price of the game that I didn't pay.
Yeah.
But typically, I'd rather just get everything myself.
Well, it's the thing too. Like, I mean, to go whatever way to make that stupid joke again. I mean, you do get a sense of pride and accomplishment from actually not paying money to get something.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
if they're all $2 million and you do a mission and get 12,000, I mean, you have to sit there and grind for like 2 days before you can get something.
Well, because I remember at the beginning there was that one. What was the guy's name? Not Lamar, the other guy that was one of your earlier mission givers. Was
Lamar in the campaign?
No, in the online, because there was Lamar, there was Simeon, there was one other guy. I can't even think of what his name was. But it was a mission that like you could finish so quickly, and it would get you 9,000 every time. So it would take you like 5 minutes. So you would just go and go and go.
Yeah, there when I was still playing a mission, I think it was one of the blow up missions where you just go to the docks and blow up some cars and leave, pretty much.
Yeah,
that one was great because if you took your time doing it, which I always like lined all the cars up, just dropped one grenade on them and then left. You get like between 9 and 20,000. It wasn't bad.
Well, there are always ways around it. It's just after a while, no matter how much you like the game, it's like I can't just do the same thing over and over again. At some point, you got to stop.
Right. It was like that for me as well with grinding for the first weapon. It's so much material required. You just kind of like I don't know.
I still have 2 more to do. It's driving me crazy.
I finally finished mine 2 nights ago, I think.
I mean, I'm not against it because I mean, it's when I finally do get the Segura shell, it will be worth it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still not opposed to what's going on with D2. Like, I know a lot of people on Reddit, especially, are getting a little bit upset with all the dawning stuff and whatever. I've got enough stuff that I'm okay with it. Like, I've almost got the full set on my Hunter. I'm just missing the helmet. But in all honesty, I'll never wear the helmet because I'm always wearing either Nighthawk or Graviton forfeits. So
I don't like the helmet, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, otherwise, it's like, I don't necessarily play my Warlock or Titan enough to really justify it, so it doesn't bother me if I don't get anything for them. I've got pretty much, I think, every conceivable legendary Sparrow or ship. The only ones I don't have are the exotic ones, and I've seen the exotic ship that Tess is selling right now, and it looks like the same thing of all the other ships. So it's like,
I don't like the exotic ships.
No, they're not that great.
I'm mad at Zero as well.
Well, yeah, I don't know. The dawning hasn't really bugged me at this point. Like it's also just been like a free event that's just given me a couple extra things. In fact, it's actually gotten me a couple of armor up to 335 now, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, it's got me quite a bit of stuff. I mean, I'm up to like 3,000 dust.
It gave me
several exotics.
I mean, it gave me an excuse to get rid of more shaders, so I don't have Atlantis Wash or some of the other ship ones in my inventory anymore. Now that's Caddy's problem.
Yeah, she holds a lot of them. But then if you clear out space, they're just going to be right back in your inventory. So.
Yeah.
I'm trying to delete them as I get them, and it's not so bad.
Well, at this point, it's not terrible, and if worst case scenario, I can just keep deleting mods and just taking those up because the mods are really what's starting to collect dust in there.
Yeah, my mods have gotten. I've started bleeding a lot more of the mods than what I was using before. Like any
Well,
melee or grenade oriented one, they're just gone immediately.
I finally took a look. Like the amount of ones that I had for chess was insane. I had like 25 legendary mods for chess. I'm like, Jesus, no wonder. And I have only like 2 for gauntlets. It's weird.
I was looking one day for the helmet for my hunter, not my hunter, my warlock, because I was at the time not 335. And I just could not for the life of me. I finally got a grenade for solar, which for the warlock I never used. I was like, all right, cool, have this later.
I don't know. The mod system has not really the mod system has just been what pushes things to 335 for me now. I don't even really care what mod it is.
Yeah, I mean some of them are nice. Like when you're playing the torrent Nightfall, if you just run like when you're Titan all arc ability reload and just throw pulse grenades at everything.
Oh yeah. There's stuff that it can definitely work. I'm just finding at least at this.
It takes so much time to try to get what you want, and you're just not gonna get it.
That's the thing too. I mean, I guess that's what if people really wanted to get that ultimate bill. I mean, obviously you're going to get the time in through that, but is it really the most rewarding time?
Not usually, no. Which what I've been doing because the Glimmer keeps stacking up to 100,000. I just buy mods every once in a while.
Yeah, I keep thinking about doing it, and then I always end up finding something that I suddenly spend Glimmer on. Usually when I'm now that I've gotten all my characters finally up to 330, I'm not doing as much infusing anymore, so now my Glimmer is starting to stay up.
Yeah.
Once I finally started working on the 2 alts, holy crap, I'm like, oh my god, now I remember why I need Glimmer.
Yeah, they stack up on you.
But speaking of D2, I'm estimating that I've probably put like maybe 300 hours into it now.
I feel like I probably have more than 300 for sure. But I mean, I had 200 at the end of October.
So we're a little bit into Curse of Osiris. What's your verdict so far?
I actually really enjoy it. There's definitely not a lot of story, but I mean, it's also, I mean, they just cut some of the game off and made us pay for it.
I'm still in that spot that every time I look at what's going on, whether it's D2, the main game that we got, whether it's Curse of Osiris, whether it's what will eventually be the next expansion, which I'm not going to spoil for anybody who's not going too far into that. But I mean, every time I look at it, I'm thinking like, why did this need to be its own new game? Like, why couldn't have this just been added onto D1?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't, I've said it before, I can't really compare the games because I don't see them as the same game. They're completely different to me.
I'm more just thinking of like, I don't understand. Like I said this in chat the other day where I'm like, I don't get why, because of what's happening in D2, that all of a sudden we have no reason to go to the moon, to Venus, to Mars.
Right.
Like, why all of a sudden, like, do you expect me to believe that just because Gaul showed up, that all the Cabal are no longer on Mars, that there's no reason to go there anymore? You expect me to believe that now that Curse of Osiris is out, that the Vex are no longer on Venus? Like, and the Hive really don't have a role in D2, so it's like, what the hell are they doing? Why are we going to the moon and dealing with whatever ritual they're doing now?
Yeah, I really... They should have just added on to D1, but I imagine the new game increases profit for them.
Well, they figured that they capitalize on the popularity at that point and make a lot more money in disc sales, because really what they did is they just they probably just cut the content out from what they were already doing and just put it on a disc, which wouldn't take that much.
I don't know that they could have cut it out because it just definitely seems so much different to me, at least.
Well, there was the whole thing that people were saying that that this content has been in the works since around what, like Taken King, and then everybody's their own thing. It's one of those weird little things that you just kind of have to question. Like, what were they thinking when they were doing this? Like, why would you have 2 separate teams working on it like this? Because you knew that there were going to be quality of life updates that would interfere with that. Like, right from the very start, when D2 opened up, we're like, why the hell isn't this a thing here? It's already in D1. Why isn't this in D2?
I really feel like nowadays compared to before, games are being released a year before they should be. Like developers should definitely spend a little more time before they actually let things out.
Yeah, it really is a joke where we're kind of living in this age where you aren't obligated to release a functional game anymore. I mean, there's that joke that people keep posting in Reddit where it's from one of those game dev simulator games where they won't let you release a game. Oh, you can't release a game unfinished, and we're all just sitting here being like, so.
Are you sure about that?
It's like I think every gaming company ever now would like to have a word with you.
How do you feel about the faded engram from there?
I don't mind it. It means at least it guarantees me that every week I'm going to get something that I don't have, which is nice. I mean, I never would have gone out of my way to get Telesto, but the fact that I just got one today, it's like, okay, that's cool. Now, if I ever want to have it, I have it.
See, you're not guaranteed something you don't get.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got Sweet Business today, which I've had several.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. I haven't heard about that so far. I haven't had that problem after 3 weeks. So
I believe someone else in the clan got a Vigilant Swing that they already had like four of.
well, that's the case. That's kind of shitty.
Yeah, I just want Borealis. I can't have it. It's the only thing I'm missing in Exotic Quest.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for Tractor Cannon. Actually, you know what? I'll trade in Tractor Cannon if the game decides to give me one exotic emote. That's all I fucking want now.
Yeah, you still haven't gotten an emo yet.
Nope. I mean, I know I'm never going to get the ramen or the table flip or anything like that. So,
Maybe
and they certainly aren't going to give me the giving emote, even though I don't understand how that emote of all things costs so like 30, 20,
so much.
3250 dust. It's like holy crap. And that emote isn't really anything special. The other exotic emotes, I think that's the weakest one, and yet it's so expensive.
Looking at it now, the only things I can't get from Tess is that emote and then an ornament for Mercies that I already had.
Yeah.
And it's seasonal for one. So you're forcing us to play the game just to get it or pay for it.
And even then, like even if you pay for it, you potentially still might not get it.
Right.
That's like I'm furious right now because I think either tomorrow or Sunday is the last day in Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, to get the Christmas characters, and I've put in like 80 orbs, which is quite a lot compared to what you can normally earn without paying money, and I haven't gotten a single character from it, and it's driving me mad.
Yeah, it's just infuriating. You're kind of forcing people that actually enjoy your game to pay for it.
And it's like, and it does come to that idea that there is a chance you can lead people to gambling. And I know, and there's still this rocky case of people are like, well, that's not gambling. I'm like, well, as someone who used to play Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, I do feel that when I got to those areas where I was just buying packs up the wazoo, that I did feel like it could have been considered addiction.
I know it's definitely, in my opinion, not gambling, but man, do I fucking love opening boxes. Jesus, it's ridiculous.
Well, I guess in the terms of gambling essentially means that there's a chance you might walk out with nothing. And generally speaking, with loot boxes, you'll get something of some sort of value.
It's not really much value, but yeah.
So I think maybe more in terms, I think it's just a dangerous addiction in terms of, just money loss that can be caused by it.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's also, like, you may have some kid that steals his mom's card or something and then starts paying for stuff.
Well, I know, like, for example, with Fire Emblem Heroes, I'll up the game now just to make sure that I got the right price. To buy orbs in that game, which is the currency to summon heroes, the minimum you need for the first summon is 5, and the first package of orbs they give you for sale is 3, which, if I remember correctly, is $3 for us. Which, let's see if the one time that I forget where the hell the button is. There it is. It's $2.79 Canadian for 3 orbs. That doesn't even get you a summon yet.
That's ridiculous.
So if you want to get enough orbs to summon one character, it's almost $6. And that character could be like completely useless.
Right.
And I'm like, holy crap. Like
on mobile, I really cannot justify playing microtransactions. I do occasionally do that. but I have to see myself playing that game for more than a month.
I have never paid for microtransactions in a mobile game, and I've never bought a mobile game. I've only gotten free stuff and have never done anything beyond that. Now, granted, that's because I'm not too big on mobile. I have a really good gaming laptop. I have my PlayStation. I have things that I can use, and I also drive everywhere I go, so I don't really need mobile.
Right.
But like, I can never imagine paying, like, for example, Final Fantasy VI on mobile is like $15. I can't imagine doing that. I could literally just bring my laptop and have it on an emulator for free.
Yeah. There's certain games that I've paid for, but I also play those games for quite a while. Now, I just recently picked up just a very simple game, and I just deleted it today as well. I spent all the time, I watched ads to get the currency or whatever, and then I've completely got everything, which are just skins for the ball.
And I think stuff like that's a fair trade too. Like either watching like 30-second ads that you can't skip. I think that's a fair trade for currency.
Well, a lot of times as well with this game, I found you can watch an ad and just close the app.
Yeah, there are sometimes workarounds to that too.
Which it's not right, but who cares?
Well, yeah, I mean at the same time, even just tit for tat, like it's just you watch 30 seconds, you get some currency. It's like I don't have a problem with that. That's a fair trade.
It's definitely a good thing. Because, I mean, it promotes other things as well, and you don't have to spend 40 hours getting half of an object.
I mean, granted, most of the games they advertise on these things, they look like shit.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's not even games.
Oh, no, whatever, usually it is just games. And, like, some of the ones I get, they're, like, really terrible, like, Match 3 clones trying to catch that Candy Crush shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god, like, can mobile games at least try to put some work into their stuff?
A lot of the games are just similar remakes of the same thing, and that's to be an issue.
That's going to be interesting sooner or later, because, I mean, at what point are we going to start seeing companies really start to suing other developers for making, like, basically the same thing?
I don't know that they will.
I mean, there's been a couple of cases already. I know, I think either King or PopCap have had a couple of lawsuits go through.
PopCap does seem like a larger gaming company, though.
Well, PopCap is owned by EA now, I believe, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It might be.
Yeah, I don't know. For the last, like, 5 years, just mobile and even handheld, like Nintendo DS and well, I would say the PlayStation Vita, but who the fuck plays it?
Yeah, I would play Vita if I didn't have to pay for one.
I mean, I got the PlayStation TV, you know, that little tiny box so you could play like Vita games on your TV instead.
Yeah.
I ended up doing that because I had no problem with that. That was something I wish Nintendo had done with the DS. Technically, that's the Switch now. But I mean, I would have loved to have played, like, I don't know, the new Fire Emblem games on my television rather than, you know, I still wouldn't mind, like, if I had the handheld in my hand as the controller and just played on my TV, that'd still be fine. Because, I mean, the problem with me in handhelds was always just, I would just destroy my neck staring down at it.
Yeah, that's where my issue comes. I just don't like looking down. I've cut out a lot of my just phone usage in general because of it. Because, I mean, if you sit there all day, your back's gonna hurt, your neck's gonna hurt.
Because, I mean, at the very least, if you're playing on console, like, you can sit down on the couch and lean back. If depending on where you are, you might have the TV in your bedroom, so you can lie on your bed, your chair. If you got to sit on the desk, like, you got so many other options. Whereas if you're playing with a handheld, like, you're always going to have to reposition yourself because you're holding this thing. Your hands are never going to stay firm. Whereas your TV's sitting on a table, or it's sitting on a desk, or it's sitting on a TV stand, like, it doesn't move. So you can move to change your eyesight. But with the handheld, your hands are all over the place. You're not a fucking robot. You can't hold it straight.
Right. It would kill your arms at some point just to hold that out.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking on the Switch? Because it's the longer and longer it goes, the more I'm like, crap, I really do want one.
I don't necessarily want one because there's not many games that I would actually spend the time to play. Because I know most of the time with Nintendo products, I'm like, hey, these are a cool game, and then I'll quit playing it 20 or 30. I would say like maybe a week or two later.
Well, at this point, if as I check Best Buy just for the curiosity, I think the latest package is like $450. I'm like, I would buy a Switch, but I can't justify $400 just to play Zelda.
Yeah, Because I mean, that's what
it's
that's exactly what I
$400
feel like.
for a console plus whatever game I want. So like if I want to play Super Mario or Zelda, it's going to be like $500. I can't justify that.
I've definitely heard a lot of good things about both Mario and Zelda.
Zero qualms if for anybody who's talking about those two games as being game of the year, because from what I've seen from both
I don't want it to
YouTube,
be
from
Mario.
Twitch. No, I don't
I'm
think it will
fine
be
with Zelda.
Mario. I think Zelda definitely has the best chance, but I think that's also because people have had a lot of time to get onto Zelda now.
Yeah.
And also just Zelda just seems to be the trendy pick right now. Like anybody can like a Mario game, but Zelda seems to be like the critically trendy thing to do.
I'm very curious to see how Game of the Year will go.
I mean, I was saying it on Gab, the social media site that I use, because I don't usually use Twitter now because Twitter's just kind of become a cesspool. They had a thread on Gab for what was the game of the year, and I legitimately sat there for like 5 minutes and thought about it. I'm like, I don't think there's a game that stands out like that for me this year.
For me, there definitely isn't. I'm also losing track of when games were released.
Like, I have Persona 5, which was really good, Horizon, which was really good, Yakuza 0, which was really good. But I mean, like, out of all the stuff
like
I've played,
Horizon to be, but because it's a one console game, I feel like that stops it immediately.
yeah, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Like, I just find with all the games that I play this year, like, I've just had a lot of really good games, but I haven't had one that smacks everybody else aside and just kind of takes over. I did end up giving it in my head to Persona just because it's the game that I think is the best made out of all the ones that I've played this year, but it's not necessarily my favorite. Like Yakuza 0 is easily my favorite game, but just because a game makes me laugh because of the stupid Japanese stuff that's in that game, I can't say it's game of the year, but it's definitely one of my most entertaining.
Right. I hear my dog barking.
It's been like that for a lot of things. Like I can't really think of like movies this year. There's been so many good ones that I've watched. Like I guess Thor's a good bet, but I've also really enjoyed like Guardians. Wait, was Guardians this year?
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
That was I finally watched that the other night, and it was fantastic. The soundtrack in those movies are just beautiful.
and geez, I'm thinking about how much trouble I'm having this year thinking of a movie of the year. The amount of movies I'm going to see next year, I'm going to be out like $500 in terms of all the movies that are coming out this year.
It does look like Guardians came out this year.
Like March to I think like August or September, I'm going to be like if I end up watching every movie that's on the list right now, I'm going to probably watch like 20 movies between like spring and summer. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten out of movies. I mean, when I was working like 12-hour days or 11-hour days, it got me out of wanting to watch movies because as soon as I would sit down, I would pass out.
Well, yeah. I used to work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shifts for like a year straight, and like I just remember, like yeah, the weekend I would be able to be mobile again, but because it would be 4 days straight and then it'd be 3 days off.
Yeah.
That first day off, I would basically be immobile because my brain's still like just melted mush.
I do miss doing that because man, did I sleep fantastic.
Yeah, now it's been kind of weird because I'm usually up at 6 a.m. and it just throws me the fuck off. Because for like the last, I don't know, 10 years, I've never woken up that early.
Yeah, I've recently pushed a little further into waking up earlier. I'm probably going to set my alarm forward some more just to kind of cushion my being late to work.
So the problem is I'm sacrificing breakfast to do what I'm doing because I can't justify waking up at 5:30 just to get some food in me. I can't do it. I tried doing 5:45 for a little bit, and after a while, I'm just like, my brain just does not want to realize like it's before 6, you idiot. Why are you up?
Yeah, I also go to bed fairly late, typically. So waking up at 5 o'clock isn't beneficial for me.
Well, I think it's the same with me. It's just because I'm so used to being such a night owl. Like for the longest time, like 2 a.m. was my normal go to bed time. So for the longest time, I didn't realize there was any sort of hour between 2 and 6.
I really like being awake at night, especially in like city areas. But field, so if I go outside at night, you don't know if you're going to be attacked by some children in the corn shit.
Well, I mean that's the thing too. Like, I I don't mind midnight shifts as much. Like a lot of people don't like them that much. I don't care because like the way my brain puts it is okay. I go to work when everybody's asleep. I sleep when everybody's at work. So by the time I'm up, everybody's around. I can go wherever I need to, and everybody's ready to chill if once I'm
Right.
up. So
Right.
it works out perfectly that way to me.
Like I like waking up in the mornings now. 'Cause it gives me time to do shit that I normally wouldn't do. Like it's a lot better in my
Well,
opinion.
that's the trade off. I mean, now I can't imagine when I used to wake up at like 11 or 12 o'clock and I would go grocery shopping then when everybody's like getting, especially on the weekend when everybody's getting up from church.
Yeah.
Because now I'm usually at the grocery store at 9 in the morning when either people are just getting up or they're just on their way to church, so it's pretty empty, and it's super sweet. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to spend 15 minutes at the deli counter waiting for that one old lady that's getting like 7,000 different meats each at 100 grams.
My favorite time to go to the grocery store is like 3 in the morning. I guess
See
that'd
that?
be like
See,
Walmart.
that's the
But
problem. Like most of my meals revolve around sandwiches right now, so the deli counter is never open at that time. I can't justify 3 a.m.
I just buy sandwich meat in packages.
I can't do it. I used to for a while, and I just find it doesn't taste good compared, especially because one of the meats that my local store has, like their ham is just I can never eat any other type of ham except that one now. So like just buying it out of the package is just like ugh, it's like slimy shit.
Yeah, it's definitely slimy. Like I learned, if you buy 2 packages of sandwich meat, different kinds, don't make your half of your sandwich and then go to open the other package of meat because you're not going to get it open.
It's not gonna go well.
It's just, I actually did that one day. I was like, I went to my coworker, like, can you open this, please?
There was a good stretch too where I wasn't even like getting meats. I was literally just getting peanut butter and jelly. Like I was going back to my kid roots for a while.
I did that as well, and I was peanut butter on tortilla chips was probably one of my favorite things to eat for a while.
Well, that's the thing too. Like you do something for so long, eventually you get out of it.
I'm probably gonna go back to that because I recently bought like a several pound package of peanut butter.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like $8. I was like, yeah, I'm taking this sushi. So I'll probably start making peanut butter tortillas again.
So the thing with me when it comes to food, like especially when it especially when it comes to fast food when I'm at work, what I usually do now is I go to the same place for like a month straight and just keep getting like the bulk of the menu. So that by the time the month's over, I don't want to go to that place for like 6 months. So I pick somewhere else to go for a month. It's kind of what I do now with like anything that I eat for like lunch or dinner. I usually just get the same thing for like a good chunk of time, and then eventually I don't want to eat that anymore, so I just get something else for a little bit.
I recently, mostly for money reasons, cut out fast food. But I'll spend probably $14, $15 on stuff to make sandwiches, and it lasts me a week and a half, where I can spend like $10 a day at least on food.
Well, it was kind of the same way with me too. Like there was a good chunk when I started my new job in February this year where I did like try really hard to not eat out all the time, and
Mm.
then now it just becomes like I can every day if I really want to. It depends on how much grocery money I'm spending because at the same time, a lot of it's just because I didn't go grocery shopping that week, or I just don't have like sandwich meat that wasn't going to go bad. So I
Right.
just end up being like, usually what I'll do is I'll go shopping on the Sunday and I'll have enough meat to last me to Wednesday, Thursday, depending on what I get, and then I'll just like fast food on Friday, just as like the treat.
It's also a little easier now that I've moved to our secondary office. It's right beside a store, and I don't like driving places in the town that I don't really know anything about.
Yeah,
And I really like sandwiches.
I mean it helps here at home. Like there really isn't a fast food place like remotely nearby, so I'm kind of buy food for dinner.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about that. When it comes to lunch, though, when I'm at work, like literally my work is within a 5 minute radius of like 15 different chains. So it's like I have the peck of the litter going on.
There's definitely in the town I work in quite a bit of food places. I'm just too lazy to go get it.
Yeah, like right now my vice is Arby's. That's my current vice.
I am not a fan of Arby's.
I find that like it's the place that you either people really love or they just can't stand. I don't think there's a
Well,
middle ground with that place.
every time I go, my food's cold. And if I get a hot sandwich, it should not be cold.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so addicted to that roast beef. They must be putting like liquid cocaine in that whatever they're putting in that thing.
I mean, as you know, I'm kind of obsessed with the Waffle House.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Well, the
where I
viewers
come.
don't know that, but I mean that'll probably become a gimmick sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, I do go like either every other week or every week. I've been 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
That's like the myth for us Canadians out here, like you guys in your Waffle House. That's the
The
big
West Coast
myth.
doesn't have it either.
It's it's normally it would be the Tim Hortons for the Americans, but now like I'm waiting for the day that we start seeing Waffle Houses up here. Although I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Doubt it. There's another place
Seems like that.
around here that recently franchised, which by that I mean they got one building in South Dakota and then two here in North Carolina. Highway 55. Fantastic, like 50s diner esque place. I love the food. It's all good. It's not too bad, and it's nice. I want to see them get somewhere because I would like other people to just have a diner to go to.
Well, there's always those places that you're like, man, how do they not have like restaurants everywhere? Because the food is so good.
Yeah, I wish I had the money to do something like Guy Fieri and just go around and try people's food.
Oh, I got so annoyed. Like way back when I was like in my early 20s, a bunch of us were getting the idea of franchising a place that was just starting out in like I think it was like I can't remember where it was starting out in, but it would only have like 2 or 3 locations at the time, and now it's gone to like. And we talked about we had enough money that we could have at least started because we had one guy who had quite the purse strings, and I could have thrown in like 10, 15 grand into the hat and kind of been like a partial owner of it.
Yeah,
That's one of those things. It's just like it's the same with Bitcoin with me, where it's like it's one of those things like why the fuck didn't I just throw some money in? Jesus Christ!
yeah, that would have been fantastic. Just pay off all your bills. You're good to go.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Trying to like there's thankfully there's at least like there's this one barbecue chain here in Canada that I thought literally when I got taken to one in the summer that was it. Like it was this small like you wouldn't have known the place existed. It was like right in this like weird corner. And it turns out it has like 11 locations. I'm like, how the fuck did you get this tiny little location in Toronto, like one of the major, like the biggest city in Canada? And it looks like it's a hole in the wall. And then everywhere else, it's like you got like 11 different spots around the friggin' province. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's different.
I think the thing, though, when it comes to Canada, though, I think whatever America's trying to franchise out here, it just tends not to work very well. Like, Walmart being like the lone exception. Target obviously tried. They failed within like 5 years and they were already gone.
I didn't know Target was actually in Canada at all.
They tried. Well, it's because it was so short. They legitimately they put like I can't remember how many stores it was, but they put a really good effort into it. The problem is I don't know how it is over there in the States, but Target is like Walmart for the people who just don't want to go to Walmart, but it's going to cost you more.
It's pretty much that in my opinion, but I don't think it's so bad.
But I think what Target didn't count on is that when it comes to Canadians, we're very much once we establish something, we don't go away from it. That's why even though Tim Hortons coffee nowadays is so terrible that people still go all the time, they're just used to it. So when Walmart's already been here like 10 years, Target came in, blow Walmart out of the water. Like the prices were more expensive already. The selection wasn't as good. If anything, all it was is, look, we got this shiny new store with some red wallpaper. And we're like, okay, that's cool, but I can go to the Walmart down the street and I can pay $2 less for that same item. Why the fuck would I do that?
What did I say? I don't remember now. There's a lot of places I don't ever go because it just feels like a waste of time to take that extra step out of my day to go over there.
Yeah.
But I also don't like shopping.
I mean, if I had it my way, there are places I could go to all the time, but I ain't driving over a half hour to get to them. So,
Well, I have to drive a half hour to get anywhere. So.
So that's the beauty of me being like in a pretty good, like wherever I am, usually within half an hour you can get to something major. Like I'm in already like a major town or a major city, I should
Yeah.
say. If there was something I didn't want to get in the city that I live in, I could just drive half an hour and I'll get to something.
Yeah, it takes me a half hour to get to Walmart.
Yeah, I've heard about places like that where like the closest Walmart's like 40 away. I'm like, I can't imagine a time where there's one more than 10 minutes away from me.
Yeah, it's not fun, especially when you need something. You're like, I'll just get it when I go to town. And when you go to town, it's like 4 days later.
Yeah.
There's also situations where you can't drive that far just for one thing. Because I mean that's like $10 of gas to some people.
Well, that's the thing. You're doing the math in your head. You're like, no, this is not working.
That to me, my car gets like 29 miles to the gallon, which I mean it'll take me about $6-7 to get to Walmart and back.
Yeah.
It's gonna go when I
You're just like, I don't feel like this $2 item that I'm going after is really worth that.
A lot of times it's not worth it.
And it just take it right back to gaming. It's almost like, this $5 loot box might only give me an item that I don't want. Doesn't seem like it's very worth the price, is it?
Yeah. Right back to microtransactions.
It's just that thing where like I said it in chat a while ago that I just don't understand why it's just loot boxes. Why can't it be loot boxes on the cheap, and then if you really want this single item that you really want, just pay bigger price for it? Let's say, I don't know. Let's say you want this specific Dawning Sparrow, like a legendary Sparrow. Say, okay, you want the Sparrow, or you give us $1.99. You can take your chance, and it gets you 3 items. It's probably going to just be shaders, but you might get that Sparrow you want.
I feel like they probably don't want to do that for the sole fact that nobody would buy the boxes, and they make more money off of the boxes.
Well, I think they'd be surprised. Like if it depends on the item too. Like if there's a certain couple items that seem like they're really that worth the time, then you just jack the price up on it, and you either make your money from the whales who really want that item, or you just make a little bit of burst out of people that just they don't want to pay $20 for a single item, but fuck it, I'll pay $5 and try my luck.
Right.
It's kind of a slippery slope. Like I've obviously not this business-oriented guy. I'm not really going to get the numbers crunched on this, but I've been saying that like I've never spent a single piece of money on Destiny's microtransactions, so my brain just doesn't wrap around why I would go through the trouble of throwing money at potentially nothing.
I mean, like I said before, I like opening boxes. So occasionally, if it's a game I know I'm going to play, I may purchase just enough to buy a couple boxes just because I know that I might get use out of it. But, I mean, it's also not really worth it.
I mean, if I'm paying full price for a game, I don't want to have to pay that kind of money for just random loot.
The amount you pay.
Like, I can't imagine playing Borderlands and having to pay $5 for a gun box.
Yeah.
Why, like, it comes back to the whole thing. If the game's free to play, like Warframe, for example, fuck yeah, I can justify paying, but even in the case of Overwatch, I can make sense of it because it literally is just skins. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
With Destiny, like some of that stuff, like has like actual value.
Overwatch was definitely like they have pretty solid microtransactions. Just because
I mean, it sucks. It sucks in the sense it's seasonal. So if you get a chance to get like completely didn't play Overwatch, so I didn't ever got the Olympic stuff. I never had a chance at it.
I think I quit before they did the Olympic stuff.
I managed to get Tracer in an elf costume though, so I got all I wanted.
I don't think I got too much. I mean, I mostly worked towards getting stuff for the characters that I mainly played, like Junkrat, for instance.
I mean, Overwatch wasn't really about the team anyway. Like the people that are into the cosmetic stuff, that's cool and all. It was just another thing that I could play with friends, right? So
yeah,
I wasn't too concerned about keep paying $20 for boxes just to make my character look slightly different.
For me, it was the emotes. That's what got me to this. I really love their emotes.
Yeah. Still a currency, so it wasn't terrible. Again, it's a case too. You did have the option to buy the
Yeah, I don't think I actually
currency.
bought.
If you collected it enough, you could. Like there were a couple skins and a couple emotes that I ended up buying just through grinding, but
I did a lot of grinding, but that was also I had 2 to 4 people to play with, and we were pretty damn decent at the game. So, I mean,
yeah,
literally,
so
we would stay
you can get some.
competitive for an entire night and maybe lose one game.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, it just comes down to the idea that it's actually just a game. It's why Destinies don't bother me that much. Like, it don't really bother too bad. It's like Star Wars, where it's just, it literally affects how you play and affects the game around you. That you can't be doing that. It's on making your game experience better and making everybody else worse.
Yeah, another game that's bad about it, which I hate. I hate that it is this way. Is Wildlands because it's a fantastic game. It's fun to play, but there is so much stuff behind the paywall that you can pick up that it's just absurd. Like there's vehicles in the game that you can just use to summon in. There's different weapons you can get, can only buy.
Yeah, I don't. When it comes to microtransactions, the only game that I can think of ever spending it on was Hearthstone, and Hearthstone is technically just a TCG, so it's like that's par for the course for a Magic player like me.
Yeah.
I think I might have maybe bought like a weapon skin or like a costume like really early on in like the 360 era, but ever since I got my PlayStation 4, I have not bought a single microtransaction ever. It doesn't seem worth it. Like especially when actually no, that's a lie. I tell a lie. I did buy a couple of Rocket League vehicles because I got the game for free on PS Plus. So I felt after playing that game so much that they did earn some money for me.
That also falls back into the ruling. You get it for free. And it's now also a $20 game, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's also MLB now.
Yeah, I mean, when you put as much time as I have into Rocket League, they kind of have. I feel a little guilty of not paying them any money for it. So
I didn't like Rocket League enough. It was fun to play for sure, but I couldn't stay into it long enough.
well, it's not even the kind of game that I like got super into. It's just more like if I was really bored, like that could take about a half hour to an hour of my time out. It was a good killer.
Games like that for me at the time those were Call of Duty games or Battlefield games were still relevant to me.
Because that's the thing, like I'm of two minds. I either like the games like say a Witcher or a Final Fantasy that you can say, okay, I have a month of time that I am just going to throw at this game. And then there are games like, say, the multiplayer in a Call of Duty where you're like, you know what, I got like half an hour, let me get like 2 matches in.
I really hate The Witcher because I don't want to put the time into playing it. And then I get so distracted playing a single player game that I can't focus long enough to play that. I really love it. I'll get to like maybe level 8 and then I'll quit. And then I'll play it 4 months later and have to restart.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed playing Persona 5, but after a while I still haven't finished it. I ended up just reading the spoilers on the game because I put like 70 hours into it, and then it was around that time that just so much more stuff was coming out, and I'm like, I can't hold off on anything else anymore. Like it's driving me crazy. It's a thing too about having a full-time job and all these other commitments that I do now where I don't have the time to just sit down and say, you know what, I'm gonna hammer out this 100-hour game in like 2 weeks. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I used to be able to do that. Like I remember finishing in like a week and a half. If I played Mass Effect 2 now, it would take me like 2 months.
With me, I've noticed a lot more recently. I would really like to get more platinum trophies. I think I'm up to like 7 now. And it's somewhat gratifying to get. But if I don't get a platinum trophy within, say, a week and a half, I'm not going to get it.
I've only got one, and that's Destiny 2.
Destiny 2's I got pretty quickly. Destiny
It's not
1
even
I
that
just
hard.
got
Like, I'll fully admit, if I can get a platinum trophy, it must be pretty damn easy.
the longest running one for me was Diablo 3 because I didn't play it regularly, but I still ended up getting it.
It's just the problem with me with platinum trophy in games is that there's always just those two ones that I'm like, I'm not going out of my way to do that.
There was games like Saints Row 4. They want you to get 1,000, 1,500 kills, something like that, with every fucking weapon. Like I was like, there's no way I'm doing this.
It's like when you see those guys that are like that they're known for either like platinum trophying everything or just getting like achievements in every game. It's like, oh my god, like I can't justify that time. Like I don't even care if that's like a job I'm getting paid for. I could not play a game that long and do such excruciatingly like boring stuff or tedious stuff just to get a trophy. It would drive me mad.
If I were getting paid for it, I could definitely do it because I would have the motivation to do so.
Well,
Like
I mean,
a
I guess
trophy
it
to
depends
me
on the
is as important
price.
as anything. Yeah.
It depends on the price.
Yeah, because
I
I
mean,
mean,
sure, if you're giving me a salary of say 80 grand a year, I'll do most things.
I will
So
platinum every game released in that year. If
I
you
would
give
do
me,
everything in my power to try to platinum a lot of stuff if I was getting a pretty damn good salary like that.
oh man, I've been for I don't know the past 20 minutes or so just running around Titan.
I was gonna say I can hear the thumbstick, so I can tell you're doing something.
Yeah, I'm playing on my hunter, so it's really choppy on the thumbsticks.
Oh
Yeah,
shit! I just
it's
noticed.
really easy
I
to
just
do.
noticed one of my buddies posted in the live chat. I was not paying attention to that.
No, is there a chat for Hangouts or is it only on YouTube?
Oh no, it's a chat on YouTube. I don't know if you have access to it on here. Oh, I see. Because when I was looking at the group chat through Hangouts, it was only through us. So whatever I was staring at was not applying.
Oh,
Because I just realized in another tab I had the actual podcast up, and I just noticed that somebody was talking in the chat. I'm like, oh, geez, figures.
it's really unfortunate that it's only us solely because I've got to go through that.
I mean, I kind of figured going in that there was going to be something weird like this happening because I mean I've never used this before, so this is completely new. This is the other reason why I wanted to try this out because I need to learn how to do this stuff.
It's it's not bad because we've definitely sitting here for I don't know we're almost like an hour and a half in.
Yeah, we're about an hour 15.
It's not too bad.
Oh, I have no complaints. Like I said, I've done 2 hour shows solo. Like it can be a bit of a pain, but it's nice to at least have a couple people to bounce ideas off of because at least then you can take a break, get a water break in, and you know.
Yeah,
I've done shows where it's been me and one other guy. I've done shows where it's been me and three other guys. Like it really does help having that extra person at least because at least you have somebody else that can take the edge off when you need to take a half second to catch your breath. It also helps just have something to just throw ideas off of.
we also, I mean, for me at least, I'm not that big of a conversationalist. I'm doing all right tonight, but all right, that blueberry just got launched off the map.
Oh,
Buddy.
I'm the opposite. Like I'm the kind of guy that like when I'm at work on the forklift, I'm having conversations in my own head about stuff. Like I'm so chat happy. I think it's because like between kindergarten and grade 7, I didn't talk shit to anybody. Like I was so reserved because I was bullied so much in school. So like I was afraid to talk to anybody. And then I moved in grade 8, had a whole new reset, got some friends, and then by about halfway into high school, I found that right group of friends that were really into punk music. We did a band together, we started doing that, and then just everything clicked and I just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And as I jokingly said, I'm like, well yeah, I had like 10 years of talking to catch up on.
Yeah, I didn't talk a whole lot in school, which I guess wasn't bad to me. Got some good sleep out of it.
It really depends on how you look at it. Like I don't frown upon my school years anymore. I used to when just as I got out of high school because I was kind of frustrated realizing like how things had suddenly gotten so much better in like my last year of school before going to college. Like that drove me crazy. I'm like, why did it take me 11 years to actually enjoy 1 year of high school or 1 year of school? Because
Yeah,
every other year was like, ugh.
I feel like a lot of people say it, but if I were to go back to school knowing what I know now, it would be such a different experience. I would actually like talk to people and do stuff.
Well, that's the thing too, though, because we always have to remember that at such a young age, like we don't have the same social skills that we do now. We don't have the trial and error that we went through over the course.
Right. And now we've definitely evolved as people.
Because it's like, as much as I like to say, oh yeah, if I knew what I knew now when I started high school, I'm like, yeah, but I was a dumb fucking kid when I started high school. So
Yeah, I was much lazier. I somewhat cared, which now
yeah,
I guess I care about important things by not caring about them.
I was a fucking 14-year-old kid starting high school that was way too busy, staring at pictures of Tifa online. Like that was what I was doing back then. Like I can't imagine I was going to be this inquisitive like mind that had this constant desire to want to talk about anything and everything and be able to do it so eloquently rather than where I was back then where like I couldn't say shit to somebody because I was afraid I get smacked in the face for it.
Yeah, I felt for me in high school, I didn't have a lot of people to connect to because I mean my graduating class was 90 people.
That's the other part too. Like I found I think the biggest reason why it was so easy for me to blend into my new school when I moved out was because the school that I was at beforehand, I used to live in this really small village town. So it's just literally that was your class, that was your grade that year.
Yeah,
So because everybody knew that I was that quiet kid, who the fuck would talk to me? It's not like what was I going to do? Like I remember being in grade 6 and I would still be sitting at the front of the bus with all the little kids because they were the only people that were willing to talk to me. Because I look cool to them because I'm just the older guy. I know things, right?
yeah,
Whereas I go to my new place. I moved to this much bigger town. There's like 4 different classes for each grade. Only a few handful of people know that I'm this quiet guy. Not everybody else knows that, so they're willing to approach me. They've never seen me before. They'll just give me a shot.
right. It's definitely dependent on how many people there are for sure.
And
To an extent,
I mean,
not
even going
100.
into college, like you're going into college, like there were at least 3 different classes there, and those are 3 classes of like 35 kids. And especially when I was in television broadcasting, you're kind of forced to work together, so you kind of have to communicate. You can't really
Yeah,
be an asshole to people because then nobody wants to work with you, and then you're really screwed.
college for me definitely brought a lot of socialness out.
Well, I think that's what really got me into what I'm doing now. Like this stuff here is basically because of college. I never really would have looked into podcasting and stuff because I never really thought of it as an art. But then a buddy of mine who was also in radio broadcasting the same year, I was doing TV, he was doing radio. We got together. He was the guy he had the voice. I've kind of adapted to what he did, learning from him. And at the
Right.
same time, he learned all the editing techniques using Photoshop, using Premiere, all that stuff from me. So it kind of worked out that way. I learned how to speak and, be able to carry a show. And he learned how to do the other stuff that, if he wanted to make his own stuff. And now he moved into computer programming and now he's out in Nova Scotia and he's just kicking ass over there writing programs and stuff.
Right. I half wish I stayed in college. It probably would have been better.
I'm in this weird place that I'm half I half I really don't like the year and change that I spent in programming because I ended up not liking it at all. So that was just money wasted. My 3 years in TV, I didn't actually mind because I did carry a lot of skills like this stuff out. So it wasn't too bad. And I mean, I did
Right.
meet my girlfriend of 10 years there too, so I guess I really shouldn't complain.
You probably shouldn't. I only made it like 3 or 4 months, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't have the motivation to go to class and pay for things that I wasn't using. I mean, it still took me 2 years to pay for my one semester of classes.
I mean, with me, like, if I really knew what I wanted to do, I wouldn't have done TV at all. Like, I just took TV because my brain was at a high school being like, okay, I need something to go to college because the way that I was taught, that's just what you do. You go to college after you graduate. So I'm just searching for stuff and I'm just thinking, okay, well, what was my favorite thing that I like doing in high school? And that was my communications tech course. And that was basically TV stuff. That was editing. That was doing image stuff. That was recording audio and shooting little videos and stuff. And I'm like, that's cool, really cool. I'll try that. Turns out, especially here in Canada, there's no fucking work for that.
Yeah, work is also another big issue, and now the few years I've been out of school entirely, I've learned a lot more things that I'm interested in and would not mind having as a profession.
Well, what did you go for school for?
Initially, it was going to be engineering and possibly programming at the time, which I wasn't that big a fan of the programming.
So what's like if you could choose to do something in college right now, what would you have gone for?
I'd probably go back more towards engineering, but maybe more of a mechanical engineering type where I'm actually working more with my hands. I wouldn't mind like machining things
Because it's
as
interesting
well.
to me, like I've put a lot of time and thought into it, and I realized that like instead of going into a computer field, I truly think that what my calling probably could have been if I had the state of mind to think about it is I should have gone into to psychology because I found that especially like I always for whatever reason when it came to after from like late high school onwards, I always just seemed to be that person that was really good at listening to people and kind of helping them get over stuff.
Yeah,
And it's just been something that I've kind of carried with me. Like I've just even today, like I still have that sense of like I'm always like hanging in there and just listening and just giving people suggestions where I keep looking back at it now. I'm like, fuck, if I knew that, like I could have been making a really goddamn good salary as you know, a psychiatrist or
my
like even just a therapist, you know?
my issue on that one is I'm really good at listening, but really bad at responding.
Yeah, I'm good on both fronts. So
My value target has dropped its plunder.
I mean, otherwise, like anything else that I would have been really interested in taking wasn't really going to be worth spending money on for college. Because I mean, like I could go for sociology, but what's sociology really going to do for me other than getting me a job teaching sociology?
Yeah,
It's why like and I don't mean to use this class specifically because of the way that my political spectrum is, but I mean like I can't imagine going to college for women's studies and thinking I'm going to get a job other than teaching.
right.
Like it's a weird thing. Like I don't know how bad it is there in the states. In Canada, I don't see it doesn't seem to be as crazy because I used to see stories all the time that oh this college has like a zombies course, and
Well,
I'm
I've
thinking
heard it's not
like how
really
much
that.
money are people losing because they're taking these college courses that literally will not offer them anything in the workplace?
A lot of the times, I mean, you're really just paying to go. Especially in the case of zombies, it's not really a real concept.
Like you're paying to have
So
somebody read books for you. Like that's almost what it is.
yeah, I think at one point I was watching like a documentary or something. This guy was listed in the film as like a unicorn researchologist or some shit. Like, how do you first off, how do you become one to have a degree in unicorns? Because that sounds like it would be entertaining.
A lot of drugs.
My lights flickering are really concerning.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like a what made you think that it would be a great idea to spend money on that, and b how did you think you were going to get money back?
Yeah, the money back is one of the bigger parts. So I feel like it's a lot of people don't think into it.
I mean, it's a big part of why I don't regret television, at least because I paid for my tuition completely myself, and I had more than enough money to do it even after I graduated. Like everything was paid off as soon as I graduated, so I didn't worry about that. When I went to the second time for programming, I was now not living at my folks' place, so now I was paying rent and stuff. So that by the time I decided to drop out, I was pretty much already starting to spiral into debt at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a major reason why I do regret the second round of college, is because that's what put me in debt. Whereas like
Well,
when I was in TV, like I was still working a part-time job and not paying like rent or anything like that. So I was still making money on top of going to school.
I would really like school to be cheaper. I probably would have been more in tune to going.
Like how much was one semester for you?
Well, I had to get a student loan because I couldn't get financial aid. Uh, my student loan was like 5,000.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure a semester for me was I'm pretty sure it was only like 2,000 tops. I think one semester was like maybe 15, like 1,500 bucks.
Another issue with the courses I was taking, I would have had to take 3 calculus classes, which
Yeah.
just seems kind of stressful.
Yeah, like I think maybe in total for my 3 years of college for TV, I think I maybe paid at most 15 grand, and I don't even think it was that much. And I mean, by the time I left school, I still had more than enough. Like I was still on pretty good ground at that point. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like I want to regret it, but at the same time, the amount of stuff that I learned, the amount of people that I met, and the amount of memories that I made, like I met some cool people through college. Like I got to meet like a couple of really famous hockey players because they would just be at the games that we were shooting because our college had connections with like the AHL, so we would film like minor league
Right.
games. So I'd meet some cool people there. We got to tour a couple of major television studios, so we got to see like newsrooms and all the other cool spots. Like I've had like some of the stuff that I've gotten to see are pretty damn cool, and I wouldn't regret it.
I more so my regrets from my past or having experiences like that and not capitalizing on it because of the way I was socially. I didn't talk a whole lot, and I kind of just kind of faded out in situations like that, where now as I would find it significantly more fascinating.
Yeah.
I really figured that.
So we're coming up to 11 o'clock. Is there anything else you want to add? Because I'm kind of running out of ideas here. We're pretty much just shooting the shit like we normally would in a PlayStation party at this point.
Yeah, it's just a little deeper in the conversation than normal. Let's start.
Well, yeah, but that's also because we don't have our other friends there to completely take us off tangent.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty good. I didn't expect us to talk that little about Destiny.
Well, I think it also happened because we didn't have anybody else in the group, so we didn't really
Yeah.
have that like.
I mean, we've had most of our conversations already about it.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we say the same three things over and over again, right?
All of them. All of the times.
So, I mean, with that being said, obviously, I don't know who's all going to be joining these podcasts like I don't even know if we're going to do this like weekly. I would hope to at least get to do like one or two a month. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
Whether we get like a few more people in every week, whether even you might not even be here every week, it depends on what the schedule is. I mean, to me, like all this really was is I wanted to be able to chat with you guys more and to also be able to do it without it being in Slack chat, because the problem with chat, text can still be taken out of context, and you also spend way too much time waiting while you're waiting for people to type. Whereas this is instantaneous. I can get every conversation that I need done.
I like having the ability to talk to people because I feel like you don't get that much anymore.
It's the weird thing about how outsiders look at us as gamers. They believe that we truly are like that we're hermits, that we're solo. When the reality is that most of us, especially when it comes to playing multiplayer games like this, like we are so not alone that it's not even funny. Like the amount of people that I have met over the course of my gaming life is incredible. I've actually gotten the chance to meet a couple in person too.
Yeah, I've met for sure 2 people I know from gaming, and I go see them every year because I mean,
Yeah.
one I've known for 7 years, the other I've known for like 4, which 7 years is probably like my longest term friendship with anyone.
And I mean, thanks
So
to
to see
Reese.
that from them as well.
I mean, thanks to a recent map too, I now know that there are two within driving distance of me. So it's like,
Yeah, there's multiple in driving distance from me.
yeah, like it's the thing. Like now, does it necessarily mean we're all going to go and see each other at some meetup one day? Probably not. But at the same time, at least to be able to hear it in voice form, at least to have that interaction that way, it does bring that sense of camaraderie rather than, because I mean you can do so much. Like I can only imagine like people in Warcraft, for example, like there's only so much that just text chat can do.
Right, yeah.
To be able to have a voice on the other end, it at least allows that you to have that like that cognitive dissonance where you can tell that, okay, this isn't just a character now that I'm talking to, this is a person.
Yeah, a lot of times as well, the people that are saying we're just antisocial sitting in a room playing video games are also just sitting at home watching TV
Well, that
by
was the thing.
themselves or with their significant other. I mean, you're not doing much different from what I'm
Yeah,
doing with somebody's interactive.
it's that same conversation. Like I'm sure a lot of us have had this conversation, especially in my case, being a straight edge guy, where I've always been like, my folks used to give me shit, and they still do, about being a gamer. And I'm like, dude, like, I've never gone out drinking. I've gone to bars with friends, but I'm always the DD.
Yeah.
I've never gone out. I have never put even like, I know that I'm straight edge because the lead singer of my favorite band of all time, and it's a local band, they even tried to give me a blunt, and I still said no. If one of my idols cannot even get me to smoke, I think I'm safe.
Yeah, you're fine. You're a good kid.
And I remember saying to them one time, I'm like, well, I mean, at least you know I'm here. At least you know what I'm doing. You know that I'm not going around getting into trouble. Like, I've never gotten in trouble with the law. I've never done anything drug-wise or drinking-wise. Like, I've never really been, like, the worst thing that I've done in my life is I got a pink slip once at school because I tried to defend one of my friends and got into a fight. That's the worst thing I've done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's the situation as well, where, I mean, you stay out of trouble playing video games for the most part when you're not calling.
No, I mean, granted, as we see, just because you play video games doesn't mean you stay out of trouble. We're seeing now that people are finding new ways, but...
Yeah, but that's people. They're going to find a way.
But that's the thing. I mean, we're gamers. It's just what we are, and it's just an it's an evolution of society where it used to be at one point that you used to go to the local diner, or you used to go to the local, like, place where there'd be pool tables or whatever, and you'd do that, and you'd chill by the bar, and you'd have a couple of beers with people you'd never met before, and you'd have that camaraderie. Now that our diners, our basketball courts, like all these things that people used to do way back when, like PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Online, Xbox Live, Steam, like that's the diner now. That's the bar. That's what we are now.
It's also from the comfort of your own home.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're safe. So at the end of the day, like, it's one of those things where it's I don't think I'll ever get it from being the mind of somebody that I guess is so anti-traditionalist. Right. See, I think this is the point that I need to stop, because now I can't speak English anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the P dance.
So I guess with that being said, I guess I'll cut it there now that I've already attempted to once, and then we just went on another 5-minute tangent. So
yeah.
For the couple of people that have been watching us live, thanks for showing up, and thanks Shaggy for showing up for this one thing, and hopefully the next time we do this, we'll get to do more of these. I don't know when. I'm hoping maybe next week, but who knows what'll happen.
Depends on who wants to talk.
Yeah. So yeah, for anybody watching live, thanks for showing up, and for anybody watching the VOD, I hope you listen. You like what you listen to. Leave any comments for what you thought about it, and we will see you guys whenever we see you. So until then, later.
Bye.